Rushmore Show, where it's all about your top four and nothing more. Andy, it is time to go back into time and do another 80s music Rushmore. Dude, I'm so excited to be here. As you guys come logging in, drop in the comments where you're watching, Facebook, Twitch, or on YouTube. It would be best if you guys jump on over to the YouTube and share some love. Drop your top four favorites of our show today. And Andy, I see you're still curating a list down there. How's it going?
Well, full disclosure, I am in my final trimester of college right now, and writing papers and doing research and doing all kinds of stuff like crazy. And then it became Friday, and it was like, dang it, I got to put my list together. The good thing is, though, I'm a big fan of hair metal, so this did not take a ton of research. It just took some thinking as far as like, what four I wanted to put in. So it wasn't something that was crazy. Good thing this was not RPG week, because I'd be on the fly giving you some answers.
Yeah, well, we got a couple people dropping in. Alan, Abby, Niches Get Stitches. We might see something about him a little later. But yeah, man, I love this. When this topic came out, I literally was like, leaned back my head for a second. I think I have my top four. I mean, like, it didn't take long. Now, I will say this, being a good hair metal band that actually stays in the genre, stays in the niche, in the definition, there aren't as many as you would really think, because it doesn't fit all the 80s bands. But there are a few, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. So the Benjamins might get a little dicey. So yeah, man, I'm all about it. Now, Andy, I'm anxious to see your selections, because there are some, and I kind of shared this in the chat with our guest. There are some that only had seasons of possible hair metal, and that were kind of milking a little bit of that MTV, a little bit of that video time to kind of get a little extra money in those riffs. But they weren't always like that. So I'm anxious to see where our guests and you go today. I'm anxious to see.
I'm very excited about this one, partly because I hope that all of the talk of hair manifests some hair on top of all of our heads tonight.
Because all four of us two, and our two guests are all bald. Now, I will say this. At least we have hair growing on our chinny chins. Our friends don't really have that either. So we'll get to that. But hey, let's jump in, and let's not waste the time, and jump in and invite our guests, right? And get started with this thing. Sore about misspelling. Oh, okay. Niches Get Stitched. I'm reading up the comments. Blocky's in the house. Blocky
kid, what is up, man? Alan Williamson in the house. I think he's been in here for a little while, but
yeah, Alan, that's who won our pop, man. He won our pop. Hey, let's jump into our show. Here we go. Our Rushmore of hair metal bands. Let's get it.
All right, man. Very excited. Kirk, what are we? You already said what we're talking about today, but we have some good friends that are coming to hang out with us today. Why don't you let the Summit Squad know who are we welcoming to the show tonight?
Yeah, so about if you were here hanging out with us on Tuesday, you already know, but about 6 months or so ago, I was introduced to Keith, the Pickin' Preacher. Now, he's not on today, which would be fun to have him on today. But he also kind of connected us with a few people in his network. And one of the guys he connected us with was a guy running a great online community of creators called the Modern Day Breakfast Club. You'd seen several of them in our comments before. Alan, he is from there. A couple of the other people that are jumping in, they have been from Modern Day Breakfast Club, and he's welcomed me in to the fold. And I was a guest on his show last Tuesday. And while I was there, I invited his co-host, to come and join along with us today. Welcome to the show from Bert's Beats, which is now Niches Get Stitches, if you guys aren't up to it already. Welcome to the show. First off, Bert.
What's
and
up?
our second guest, Dave Sewell from Guitar Off the Cuff. Welcome to the show, guys. It is a pleasure to finally have you guys rolling. We're going to do hair metal. Now, Bert, you picked hair metal, and it sounds like your dog is singing some hair metal right there in the back.
Yeah, it's around this
He's
time
so
every
excited
time.
about the subject.
Yeah, man, I do. Like, I probably did 10,000 hours of lives every time around 7 o'clock. My dogs, Billy and Rocky, are doing this. So it's part of the show.
Well, here's the deal, man. Tell me what are you doing on your community? Tell us all about Modern Day Breakfast Club. Tell us about Niches Get Stitches. And then we'll jump over to Dave because Dave's starting our show off today. He can tell us all about his show and then get us going.
Yeah, so Dave's actually part of the crew, the Modern Day Breakfast Club crew that we kind of started probably about 4 or 5 months ago, and started with 5, turned to 10, and there's about 30 to 40, maybe 50 really totally awesome people on there. Patty Fish and Alan Williamson are part of that. Mr. Robert Springs comes around. Doesn't have any content, but he's a fantastic dude. And of course, my co-host until I'm done doing live streams, David is there. So yeah, we have about 2 or 3 people working their way to full monetization. One guy already made it, and 2 or 3 are very, very close within the next 200 hours or so. And it's been a cool thing. And I'm kind of like popping back and reinventing myself. I don't have a niche, and I've never had a niche. And I like it because if I feel like cooking something, I can cook something. If I want to sing something, I'll sing something. And nothing against people with niches, but as far as myself, I need to remind myself there's no box. Just do what the hell I want and make it happen. So that's me, and I'm Bert, and it's been a fantastic journey, man. I got monetized in January, and now I'm just pushing out and trying to next goal first monetized, next goal 100,000 subs. So I'm doing pretty well with my shorts feed. YouTube likes me. I'm doing all the SEO craziness, and that's me. My name is Bert, and Niches Get Stitches in terms of what I feel.
Love it.
Yeah, all right, man. So look, Dave, you're up, and tell us a little bit how you got connected with this crazy guy, what you're doing on your show, and then we'll get started.
Well, I had been looking for quite some time for people to just collaborate with in some way. And it was always just message in a bottle and didn't really hear back. People would say, well, yeah, because I do music. I play guitar, keyboards and stuff. And so I was really trying to find a community based on musicians. But better yet, I found connection with Bert, and it was a good while back. And then I was able to just learn to see how he helped everybody get their channels to where they are. And then also just to get the support of helping share some of the stuff I make and get some feedback on it and have fun with it. So on my channel, I pretty much just make music. I play games too. But it's typically about the music. So do a lot of improv recordings and things like that. So
nice. So this is how our show works. We the Rushmore Show, it's built around the presidents on the mountain. We have ranked them 4, 3, 2, 1. Start and go backwards. 4, 3, 2, 1. And Andy's wearing the shirt in case you forget. I'm wearing a better shirt. But I usually make
like
my crowd a little.
more games, man. There's still 150 more games. We'll see.
Yeah, there's still 150 more games. But hey, Andy's going to start us off with his shirt there. Rosie is number 1. Before we jump into Rosie, tell us, Dave, when you heard the topic. Now you only joined on Tuesday. What were you thinking when you were kind of curating this list, putting this list together? Tell us your criteria.
I was mostly thinking about it from a perspective of I had late in the 80s, I'd always liked kind of, rock metal music, especially a lot of the popular ones, but I would gravitated a lot towards ones that had a lot of cool guitar work in it. Although I didn't yet know how to play until I started playing. I don't know, it was probably about like 17 or 18 I started to play. But that's where a lot of it went, was really what were some of the things that for me from a guitar standpoint were just so overwhelmingly, wow, that's new. I can't believe that I need to know how to make that sound, that kind of thing. And of course the singing is a huge part of it. But I was in the 80s, I was all about the guitar.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, look, that's a great way to start. You being a musician, Andy is also a musician. You guys might even actually think about a little bit of those things differently. Me, I'm a little bit different. I don't ever go in that music world, but hey, to each their own, because this is everybody's own top four. And so, Dave, you're up first. Tell us, what is your number 4? We call him Rosie. Yep. Pick of the draft. Put on the mountain. Now, this is the line in the sand. This is probably the hardest one. It's the one that you can't put any more on the mountain after this. So who you got?
I would have to say, for me, if I only could put one on the mountain, I'd have to go with for the 80s, it'd have to be Queensryche.
Queensryche. Let's go. Why do you like Queensryche, man?
Different. They were just so different in the way they create. Of course, they had the whole rock opera album with Operation Mindcrime, but also the vocals were very different with Jeff Tate, and there were 2 guitarists. They would do a lot of cool harmonizing and stuff like that. Really good bass player and a killer drummer. And that's one for me that it just connects a lot of my musical tastes together.
Nice.
I love that.
Well,
so here's just to kind of piggyback on that a little bit. I love this pick. You're coming in hot with Queensryche. I mean, unless you're
coming in hot.
Unless you're a fan specifically of this genre, this era of music, most people are not going to throw Queensryche. I guess, which is why we do the Rushmore, right? Which is why it's a personal list, which is why it's better than any other Rushmore out there. I said it. It doesn't matter what anyone else in the world says. Is that this makes sense for that reason? But to your criteria, if you're going to talk about musicianship, there may not be a bit more musically talented band during this time, because let's face it, we're going to talk probably a lot about some bands tonight that were all show. This hair metal, glam metal, it was MTV, it was the show, it was the look, they were getting the chicks, it was the pyro, it was all the, which hey, look, more power to you. That's awesome. That is so cool. But this band really could bring it when it comes to that. Dude, when you listen to, and again, it's probably their least heavy song, but Silent Lucidity.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Hear his voice
with his voice when it gets that is that low tone, it makes it so heavy.
Jet City Woman. I mean, there's so many good songs, man. There's just
they're loaded. They're loaded, man. Jet City Woman. I Don't Believe in Love, dude. Queensryche is a cool band. Let me just say this. This is one off of many of the Benjamins. It was out there. But I'm kind of glad you went here because it's a little lower on my particular list. Not because I don't love them. They're in my order. But you said it though. They're technically strong. They're really good. Really good sound. But
Yeah.
if you're talking mainstream, they weren't there, right? They weren't.
No,
they weren't
yeah,
like
yeah. I had
they
to
weren't
hear
the
about them from somebody. Yeah.
MTV guys, right?
Yeah.
But they are definitely hair metal, and they're definitely a great pick. Bert,
Yeah.
what you know about Queensryche?
Oh,
Bert, you're muted. Sorry.
There we go. I got you.
How am I now? Am I good?
You're there.
You're good. You're good.
Okay, yeah. So thank you, Rocky. Yeah, I like silent lucidity. I don't know. So I have ADHD and OCD and some craziness and things. So
And LMNOP and
I have
QRL.
everything. I have everything, and I was such an angry guy. I'd listen to just straight like hardcore heavy metal stuff and kick the doors in. And I remember Queensryche. That particular song would chill me out, and I really like kind of it touched me in some way to like find a way to just calm down. So I like that choice, Dave. I didn't pick it though,
Cool.
but I like it.
I love that.
That's a good pick. Hey,
Look,
look,
real
before
quick, Mike Parker, hold on real quick, is in the comments. This is an inside joke, sort of. He says Cherry bottle cap is still the worst. We were at RetroCon and he had some bottle caps and he asked me on the fly to rank the top 4, which I believe there's only 4 different flavors. And everyone knows that cherry bottle cap is the worst one. There may be 5. But yeah, so anyway.
Hey, so look, you kind of jumped in and introduced Mike, but I think Mike and maybe Kenneth and a few others, this is their first time being here, or maybe their second. Just wanted to say welcome to the Summit Squad. Here you go. There's no entry fee. There's no pay at the door. You're welcome to the concert. Just do us a favor. Keep in the comments, leaving your top 4. So
Swipe the credit card.
Yeah, swipe the credit card. What a good start. Queensryche number 1. Bert, it's your turn. Tell us first who you are. Well, you've already shared that, but tell us your criteria, what you were thinking when you were picking these, and then we'll jump into your Rosie.
Well, I had to think back, me now or me back then, the crazy guy. So I went with me now because I like this dude. When I had to sit and think, I was basically looking at all the songs that were out there that helped me like cope and like calm down. That still have an impact today. When I hear it, I feel all pretty chill. So yes, I know it's metal, but what I looked for are these bands that I was able to pick like a particular song of theirs, and I'm like, okay, this is a cool song. I feel good now. I don't want to kill anybody. So this is my criteria.
Love it.
They rocked, but they also figured out a way to chill me out, which was a hard thing to do.
Yeah. All right, so give us your Rosie, number 4 on your list.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are gonna like this, but I'm kind of gonna go there because I guess my criteria may be a little different than you guys, but I'm gonna go with Def Leppard.
Woo!
Nice.
Kirk's only gonna say nice, I'm sure. That's it.
Yeah. So the reason
have
why
that pick.
I will give you, I'm gonna go with it because that's my criteria, and there's some that there's a time and place for everything, and I seriously need to be chilled out. I need the reins pulled back on me every day, all day, 24/7. So Love Bites, man, for some reason that song Love Bites, for just some reason, the way it's put together, it gets my heart rate back down when things are crazy. So I don't know, like that, just for that song alone, and of course there's Hysteria and all that, but just how they put it together, and Dave plays a very similar type of things that when I hear his stuff, David guitar off the cuff, and it chills me out.
Yeah.
So every morning I wake up and I hit my Bob dummy. I used to do jiu-jitsu and a bunch of boxing stuff, and I used to be just this destroyer person, and now it's like I basically listen to cool, like smooth stuff like Love Bites. What did I listened to Tony Rich Project yesterday in the morning as I'm demolishing the Bob dummy. So Love Bites is on the playlist to my life to chill me out. And I'm gonna go there with the Def Leppard, and that's one of my actual favorite songs of all time.
I love this pick. I'm gonna let Kirk. I'll just say things are gonna happen in this episode. So this is a great pick. I love your criteria though, because here's what I'll say. And I was going to say save it for my criteria, but I think it just bears speaking about now that you brought it up. One of the great things about what's up, sports car, ripping teacher, country fan. Hey, is it next week? Is it next week? We're going to be talking 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now. I don't even know. We're going to be doing 90s country. We'll do a Rushmore.
Next week is John Hughes movies. The week after that is your boys. I think going to be with Invoke the Nightmare, and then last up is going to be 90s country if it all works out right.
Yeah, but here's what I was saying is that one of the beautiful things about this topic in hair metal and or glam metal, whatever we want to call it there, is that you to me to be that you have to have ballads, right? It was the 80s, right? Every band, even the hardest rocking band, put out some good solid ballads. And again, what did I say before? A lot of them were trying to get the girls, right? They weren't going to win them all on these like heavy metal songs. They had to write these ones in there. So anyway, I love this pick, man. I love this pick. Just like I said, things will happen in this episode. Kirk may have some things to say.
I will say this. One of my favorite types of music, I walk in my kitchen and I say, Alexa, play 80s ballads. I just right off the bat, because I love a good ballad, dude. And I will. I'm known to cry to a few, so there you go. I do love a good ballad. I love that selection. Hey, I messaged my sister.
Well, they're designed to cut deep, so they're designed to just go right for the heart.
Hopefully, my sister will jump in here sooner or later. I texted her and I said, "Hey, this might be your favorite episode I've ever done because my sister, this is her favorite band." And I think she may have seen them about 25 times. She's flown all over the country to see them. Hopefully we'll be able to chat about them a little later too. So, all right, it's my pick. It's my pick, right?
Yes, it is.
Now look, this, I'll just say my criteria. I tried to find something that had all 80s hair metal bands as much as possible. There are a few that are up here that were cut off. There are a few up here that were kind of cut off because I was trying to cover up the terracotta bowls that are behind me in this space. Yeah, because I was kind of made fun of while I was on Bert's show. But I'm at my wife's uncle and aunt's house, and this was the best spot. So, but anyways, here are some of the bands that are going to be talked about today, I believe. And when I was thinking about them, my top four immediately, boom. I mean, to me, it was not only are they the four best hair metal bands, but they are some of the four best bands of all time, in my opinion. So, and that's just because what I like and how I grew up in the 80s. And so this is my jam, hanging out with my sisters. I was kind of joking with Dave. The frontmen for most of these bands behind me, their picture was all over my house because my sisters had it on their wall. But yeah, I'll go with my first one. I'm coming in really hot, Andy, really hot. I don't know how this is ever a 4 spot, except in this one. I'm coming in with a 2018 Hall of Famer. They inducted in the Hall of Fame in 2018. I'm going with a band that started in 1983 from New Jersey, Bon Jovi. Coming in, Bon Jovi. John Bon Jovi, man. Slippery When Wet.
That's a bold move. That's a bold move.
Albums of all time. You asked me what's one of my favorite albums of all time. This probably makes it on that Rushmore. They were all about the girls, dude. They had ballad after ballad after ballad, but they had so many songs that if I play just the first 10 seconds, you know it, right? The first 5-10 seconds. Living on a Prayer. I mean, like, there's so. I have a list here, and it would probably take up the whole show if I kept going through all of these. But they have so many albums. They were putting out albums in 2016. Now, they've had from 1983 to 2016 putting out albums, 130 million records sold. They're big in philanthropy. John Bon Jovi actually owned a couple arena football teams, which that's a side note. But when we're talking about just songs, right? Just songs, these guys have it all. And I don't know how they're probably up higher for many other people. The only thing that you might say is this couple of them, this is one of those bands that if you were a guy, you might not have liked them because they really tend to go towards the female audience a lot, right? But Living on a Prayer, It's My Life, Always, You Give Love a Bad Name, Next 100 Years, Bed of Roses, Thank You for Loving Me, Never Say Goodbye, Runaway, I'll Be There for You, Wanted Dead or Alive, Bad Medicine, Have a Nice Day, Born to My Bed. I mean, this list just goes on and on and on and on. Bon Jovi.
That's
Nice.
That's fantastic. I never will understand how that's a 4, but I say this. I mean, to make the top 4 is still great, right? So,
Yeah.
But there's just and everything's personal, right? I don't know of many that are greater than the one you just mentioned. But I look forward to.
I'm gonna shoot my shot, and I'm gonna say that Andy, this one's up way higher for you, and because they had a really big '90s presence. They had a huge 90s presence, and you're a 90s guy. I would assume this is on your mountain a little later.
Yeah.
So
maybe
it's a wild guess, but out of the 4 that I'm bringing, this is the most 90s.
Okay. All right. I don't consider them 90s, but I understand.
They're an 80s band for sure, but they had more of a 90s presence than the other 3 that are on my list, in my opinion.
And 2000s. I mean, they're still putting music out.
Yeah,
I looked at Spotify.
Not a 90s band. No, not at all. What's up, Farrell Inferno?
Woo, Farrell's here. What's up, dude? How's it going, man?
I love what Patty Fish is saying. While you're out there, hit the like button. Do that. So, Dave and Bert, what you think about Bon Jovi?
Go ahead, Bert.
Oh man, I love Bon Jovi. Of course, they have a lot of those ballads and things. Of course, it's a lot of the songs they put out are go-to like karaoke songs, like Always. It's all cool until you get to the dang chorus, and I just watch in the back and say, "Let me see if this dude can actually."
I'll be there for you.
Yeah, it's like. Fun songs to sing until you get to the dang chorus, and then you it's either a train wreck or you like, holy crap, that guy can sing. So a lot of people attempt Bon Jovi, Always, Living on a Prayer. It's like that right off the bat, they got to be kind of loaded to take it. You got to commit when you sing his songs, even in the beginning. I love the song Always, but I have to actually channel myself and get to a place because I know that dang chorus is coming up.
Always. I remember the video, dude. Like, I love that black and white. It's great. Bert's back. Yeah, he's back. What's up, Dave?
I think that's a great pick, and for me, Wanted Dead or Alive is one that every time I hear it, if it's loud enough, I just stop what I'm doing and listen to it. If it's like off in the distance, I can resist it. But if it's at the proper volume, it's like, okay, I'm clearing my calendar for the next however many minutes are left in the song.
I love it.
Yeah, well, you brought up a good point, and there is a song. It's on Slippery When Wet. It's an underrated song. It's not one of their hits, but back in the day, early 90s, I had the 12-inch speakers, I had the subs, I had everything in the truck booming. And there is a song that as soon as it comes on, I want to drive about 150, right? On Slippery When Wet, it's Raise Your Hands. Dude.
Oh, yeah.
Raise your hands. Dude, I remember as soon as that song hits, it's not one of their biggest hits, but if you listen to it, man, it gives you some energy. Man, it is pumping. I love it. I cranked that joker up. Good song.
Well, they're definitely one of those bands that had a lot of good songs and then a lot of other ones that just snuck in between that just didn't get the light shined on them because there was so much other good stuff. That's a good
Love
call,
it.
Bon Jovi.
All right, well, that's my Rosie and Andy. You're up.
Yes.
You're up. What's your criteria? What you was thinking? Let's tell everybody about your Rosie.
Let's do that. Here's the criteria, you guys. You ready to be minds blown?
You like them?
Here's my criteria. They had hair, they played loud, and I liked it. That's
Hold on,
listen,
I'm still writing that down.
Yeah. Take notes. Fellas. Take notes. Here's the deal. You can't overcomplicate this one. I do, Bert. I like yours. I didn't think about that as far as like, again, you found a niche in your criteria right there of these songs that calm you down, and Dave, even with yours, with like the musicianship behind a lot of that stuff, the guitar playing and everything. All of that factors into mine just because I like them. Again, I said it before, being a musician, I'm a drummer, play some guitar, but primarily drums. A lot of these groups that I'm going to mention tonight, I tried to emulate some of their style into my own kind of thing. They had some kind of impact with me, just musically in a time. And again, I was born in '89, so like all of this stuff is like after the fact that I'm listening to this stuff. But growing up in a house where my parents listened to multiple genres of music and exposed me to a lot of these things, helped me to really appreciate this stuff, right? So there's stories that I'm going to tell through the night with these bands, but I'm going to go ahead and get started. Listen, Kirk, I believe you came in hot. I really do. I'm going to come in hot. I don't know if it's quite as hot as yours, but it's one of those top bands from that time. This band formed in the magical city of Los Angeles, right? We were talking about that. This is kind of like the area where this was all happening. This is the Mecca, right, when it came to the glam metal. Oh, and here's the other thing: hair metal, glam metal, same thing. Everywhere I look it up, they're used interchangeably, right? If you were a glam metal band, you had all the big hair and everything. So like that, to me, it's all it's poppy, but it's also rocky and heavy too. There's a good mix of pop and rock together. So anyway, this band, LA, 1981, and I'm going with your boys, Motley Crue. Motley Crue is going to be my Rosie on my list. Dude, Vince Neil, Mick Mars, Nikki Sixx, Tommy Lee. If we're going to talk about drummers, we've got to mention Tommy Lee there. So many bangers, right? You're gonna, Shout of the Devil. You've got Kickstart My Heart, Dr. Feelgood, Girls, 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 Home Sweet Home. Home Sweet Home. There we go. We got a ballad that we're throwing in there too for you, Bert.
Yeah,
dude. So many good. And again, they were that. I think a great mix of really good musicians, but I think some of the glam and things kind of overshadowed that, which is almost the downfall of a lot of these groups, is that there were these bands that got caught up in the image, but actually when you listen to them, because when you put the CD on, you don't see all of that stuff, but the songs hold their own. And a lot of these things are so good. I mentioned, was it last week we talked about covers, and when I was in a band, this was prior to Invoke the Nightmare. So this was my band before that. Dennis was actually the vocalist for that too. We used to jam out and cover Dr. Feelgood a lot, because that opening, that drum beat in the beginning is so fun to play. It's such a cool riff in that song. And here's the last thing I'll say again, and we can talk some more about it, but Mick Mars. If we were to put out there a Rushmore of underrated guitarists, and Dave maybe could speak on this a little bit more. When you think of Motley Crue, you think of the other three guys, right? Unless you're a musician and you see that. Everyone knows Tommy Lee. Everyone knows Nikki Sixx. He's still out there, and with all of this stuff. Vince Neil, even, and actually, side note, if you listen to Vince Neil's voice now, I know in the chat we were talking about, and Queensryche still has got his voice. Vince Neil is as far away from that voice as he could ever have been. It's sad. It's sad to see that. Too Young to Fall in Love. I see that, Robert. That's great song. So many bangers. And My Rosie, I had to put Motley Crue in there. What you guys think?
Yeah, I love this pick. Makeup was a big deal here, not like your favorite band, but more on the actually eyeshadow and whatever. I remember they put the black under their eyes, like they were playing baseball. They had the black kind of stripes kind of going, but their outfits were always black and leather. I remember this too. I was kind of scared of Motley Crue as a younger kid. You know, they're shouting at the devil, and everybody's telling me if you spin the record backwards like Ozzy or something, that we're going to incant the devil in our living room, and you're trying to listen to it. These guys embodied what they were. They really used every bit of MTV, every bit of the videos and the aura to really put on a great show. Now, I'll say one regret. I was supposed to go see him last year. I was supposed to go see him the COVID year, and they canceled and moved it back. And then I was supposed to go see it then, but the tickets were like astronomical. And I'm kind of glad I didn't go because what you just said, I've heard Vince is just way, to use from David, off the cuff. He is way off where he needs to be. And so much so, Mudvayne called him out the other day. The lead singer of Mudvayne was like, bro, give it up. Please give it up, Vince Neil. But I love this band. Great band, great pick. I applaud this one for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I put it in the comments. I forgot. Speaking of cover songs, they do a cover of Helter Skelter that is really, really good too. Mention it.
Oh yeah, that's
last
right.
week. It is a good cover. All right, so Dave, talk a little bit. Mick Mars, do you find him as being an underrated guitarist in the world?
I think from a rhythm guitar standpoint, he really just came up with some really cool things, and also rhythmically, not just the sound, the notes he would play, but rhythmically there would be some surprises in there. So I think you're right. He's a solid guitarist. I don't know from a solo standpoint if I'd put him up there, but the rhythm guitar is just like, I mean, if you talk about Kickstart My Heart, that's just a perfect example of that you can't play that riff any differently and make it sound so awesome.
I just think he's almost like a when you hear a Mick Mars riff, you know what I mean? There's just a signature something about it. And it's hard to tell you what right now. It's hard to say it in words, but you just know that it's him when you hear it. It's kind of like for me as a drummer, like when I hear Dave Grohl play the drums, I know that's Dave Grohl playing drums, but I can't explain it. I don't know. If anybody's got that signature sound, to me, that puts them up at a higher level than
he definitely has transcended the kind of blending in with everybody too. He has a sound of his own, definitely.
Berg, you like Motley?
I'm a dreamer.
There it is.
I was waiting the whole time, but my heart's a gold. I had to run away high, so I can't hear. It's so hard to hear without the audio interface. It's like you're singing into a muted thing. One of my favorite songs, "Home Sweet Home," because I realized, I'm from Guam, right? So Guam's about 7,264 miles actually from where I'm at right now, and what do you call it? I came here and I got homesick, right? Even when I was on Guam, I felt homesick when I just didn't know. It's like I just that song. It really got me because home is where I'm at. Home is. I take memories in my head. I don't have to be anywhere. I just be happy where I'm at, and I'm always home because I don't need anybody. I love people, but I don't need people to make me happy.
Testify. You're preaching.
You said,
Hey, we got Retro Card Collector here now.
Well, there he is. What's up, Screech? What's up, Screech? Man. All right, man. So our first level of the mountain is done. So we got Queensryche, Bon Jovi, we have Motley Crue, and we have Def Leppard. Man, that's a top 4 right there. I mean, shoot.
Mhm.
Now, all right, Dave, you're up. This is TJ Jazzy Jeff. I would be upset if you put the Fresh Prince in here, but here you go. You're up, man.
It doesn't count. All right, what you got?
This one might be a little bit of a surprise because they weren't so much about the hair as they were about the metal, but Testament.
Oh, Tesla, nice.
No, not Testament.
Testament. Yes.
Oh,
yeah. The
that's
heavy
even
metal.
better.
Yeah,
You make me want to change
everything on Practice What You Preach, and they just had such a unique sound, and the screaming of the vocals was just at the very limit of what I could take at the time. I can handle screaming vocals now, obviously, but at the time it was just the right amount of energy to just bury the needle. And I still can play the whole song, Practice What You Preach, in my head. Just the great riff, the inverted chords and all that stuff. It was just solid stuff.
Yeah. Testament's a great band, man. You're talking about screaming. Andy is a part of a screamo band. He was in that world for a little bit, more of heavier than even Testament. Like yeah. But this is a good pick, man. So I was pulling them up. Berkeley, 1983. And man, it says their biggest inspirations were Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, and Anthrax. So that tells you where Testament comes from. So man, great pick.
Let me just say this: I got kicked out because I was so excited. I don't know what happened there for a minute. I'm so mad that I missed part of your talking about Testament. You and I said it while you're talking. I wasn't trying to interrupt you. You're making me rethink my list, because if we could put Testament on there, this opens up the floodgate.
This changes everything.
Oh, my Benjamin's for sure is changing because I love this pick. I love this pick. I don't know how many people are big into Testament or are really knowledgeable of them. I'm even personally not like, I don't know their whole catalog, right? But I do. And as I came back on, I heard Kirk kind of talking about how I was in death metal bands and stuff, and we definitely listened to some Testament for sure, because they and again, forgive me if you already mentioned this while I was kicked out, but they're still putting music out, like, and still like legitimate. I mean, they got such a large catalog of music here, and they're pretty dark, man. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's good heavy stuff, and it's always got some good. It focuses a lot more on the rhythm than the solos, but now I don't know if this song was. I think Return to Serenity was early '90s, that song, but that has one of the best solos of any song ever. That it just builds and then just goes nuts. What was it? Skolnick, I think was his name, was the guitarist. So
I love this. I love this pick, man. Fantastic. Again, I'm rethinking.
I love the fact that you went here. This is good. This is good. I like it.
Now they did all have hair, so I will count it.
Yes. it's the judges.
Really, I like Skolnick and Eric Peterson with Greg Christian and Louis Clemente.
Yeah.
Nice. Judy in the house.
What's up, Judy?
So, Bert, what you know about Testament? Testify. You were testifying earlier.
I'm going to tell you that Testament I stay away from. I don't drink. I haven't drank in like 5 or 6 years, and it reminds me too much of hard Metallica. But I do. It has a place in my my memory of good times, bad times, and
good times.
Most of it fun times,
Yeah.
right? So yes, I'm gonna leave it there in the little closet somewhere back there, and I may open it in the summertime or something. Just to
Yeah,
see
so
what's
Practice What
still
You
there.
Preach is the one you named out, Dave. But Over the Wall,
Yeah.
The New Order, Souls of Black, Return to Serenity, Demonic Refusal, Do Not Resuscitate, More Than Meets the Eye, little Transformers. More than meets the eye. Yeah, good pick, man. Good pick. I love this. I love where we're going.
Nice.
Gotta go later,
Nice.
Burpees. See you, buddy. Thanks for joining in.
The dogs are saying bye.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But see you later,
Man.
Jeff.
They're the
Rocky
greeting
says bye.
committee. Rocky's in the chat.
He is, man. Sorry about that, guys.
Rocky wants to rock.
He
All
does.
right,
he
Bert,
does.
you're up for TJ Jazzy Jeff.
Okay, so let's see. Jazzy Jeff songs, right? That's what we're on. My medicine, by the way, is going to run out in about 3 minutes. So since it's about to run out, I think I might as well.
Can we put a timer on the screen?
Yeah. So just like the pumpkin and my medicine running out, I'm gonna go with Cinderella.
Cinderella.
Yes,
All
and I
right.
will go there because it's perfect. It's perfect, and I have a huge list, so it's fun because I have so many. But it's like okay, and it's cool. It's based off what you guys are going. It's moving me around, and it's almost like a chess game we're playing. So, and again, it's another song talking about home. Like I'm coming home. I like them, and they were just chill enough just for me. And Don't Know What You Got, those two songs, and of course they have the other ones, but those two are the ones that. And again, I'm all about the chill right now, and I still listen to these Motley Crue slow songs and Cinderella. So yeah, and that it does have a ballad, and I like singing that song, Coming Home. So. Yeah. Cinderella, and my medicine's about to run out, so I apologize for what's going to come out of my mouth in about 4 minutes.
All right.
That's precision that is some precision dosing. Okay, at about.
I know it already. I know it. It's almost 8. That's why I end the live streams at 8, Dave. I'm telling you, that's why.
That's a great call. That's a great call there.
Dude, this is a good pick. This is really high on my Benjamin side. It was in my probably top like 6 to 10. It was in 6 to 10, depending on what you guys go. It's now off my list. Obviously, we can't pick that one. But man, Cinderella, great pick. Great pick.
Yeah.
I don't know if I know enough of Cinderella. So they didn't make my list for Benjamin's either. There's a few songs.
Yeah.
Here and there that I can sprinkle in and out. But
Nobody's Fool.
Yeah, so Nobody's Fool.
Don't Know What You Got.
Fun. Yeah, there's not a ton of hits. At least
I bet you would know more than you think you know. Just saying. They're one of those bands that played a lot on the radio, and you're kind of like, oh, I didn't know they sung that.
Yeah.
Well, that's good, man. They're an underdog. They're a Cinderella story. So
Cinderella story.
It's lovely.
300 yards. He's got an 8 iron.
Yeah, no, it's true.
That's a good pick, though. Good pick. I mean, I'm surprised where we're going here. I love it. All right. Well, I guess it's my turn. TJ Jazzy Jeff. And I'm going to go with a great band, but it's already been said, so I'm crushing. Yeah, you knew we had to do it eventually. We had to crush more. So crush more for everybody out there means I am matching with somebody, and I'm matching with Andy today with a little Motley Crue. Man, listen. When you were talking about them earlier, I was like, there's a couple other things I wanted to mention. One, in my BC days, my before Christ, right? We're mentioning this, but man, I used to listen to Girls, Girls, Girls all the time. I mean, literally a lot. And also, when you're talking about, we had the Bon Jovi song where Raise Your Hand, Driving Fast. Kickstart My Heart, and Dr. Feelgood, Girls, Girls, Girls. They have music that just gets your heart moving, man. It's drive fast and go. Now, look, I'll say this. If if you guys love documentaries or biopics, a good one is actually the Motley Crue one. But be careful; it is not for the little friends. It is filled with exactly what they were doing. So, sex, drugs, and lots of cursing. If you want to watch that, but it's really good because it paints a picture of kind of what they were going through. And so, I mean, I watched it just because, like, I wanted to just see that world, right? But, there's a lot of moments that I didn't watch it, obviously, with my kiddos, but it is something that really paints the 80s and that hair metal quite a bit. Seeing Nikki Sixx, like, leaving his family and changing his name from, I think it was Carlos something or other. But, and then obviously Tommy Lee was famous for more than just playing the drums, chasing Pamela Anderson and being just an amazing drummer. We mentioned him back in the drums side of things. But Vince Neil, bro, he's done, man. He is done. He's overweight. His voice is terrible. He's just trying to milk it. Like, he just needs to let it go. But Motley Crue, great nostalgia for me. Love it.
Yeah. You said we've talked a lot about Motley Crue tonight. They're definitely good. Smoking in the Boys' Room. That's one that we didn't mention.
Smoking in the Boys' Room.
Oh, yeah.
Fun song. That's a fun song too. So, man, good stuff. Yeah, Kickstart My Heart. The way that it starts with the
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a good riff. Yeah, love it, man. Love that pick. And then the guitar solos, like the mouth thing or whatever that he does.
Oh yeah, it's the
voice box,
vocal or whatever it is, voice box things.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Fogerty or whatever, right? Wasn't it Fogerty that kind of did that stuff too?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he did. Yeah, he did. He was not a hair metal band though, by the way.
Nah.
Yeah, he does not.
He had hair.
I don't think he wants to be put in that category.
He had hair. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, man. Well, we've already mentioned Motley Crue. I don't know that anybody else can add anything to it. So, Andy, you are up to finish our first half of the mountain. We got 15 people in here. Everybody say hello out in the chat. We're talking about top 4 hair metal bands. Leave your favorites in the chat. Hit the like too, man.
All right. So, funny story here to lead into my TJ Jazzy Jeff. Back in the day, and you guys may remember this, VH1.
I'm not a kid anymore, but someday.
There you go. VH1 put together some double disc compilation CDs, different genres, right? In no shame, I got the disco one because I wanted that so bad and I liked the music. But the other one that I got I asked my parents to order for me was, I still remember it, 2-disc set. Big hair, big 80s, right? Was this compilation disc, which is a lot of what we're talking about tonight. All these bands were likely on there. The Cinderella that I heard was from that one, right? So, but this CD, and I forget what year this was. This had to be probably late 90s, introduced me to this band. And for whatever reason, this band jumped out at me. Now, again, I didn't see them. I just heard their music and I just really, really enjoyed it. And this became a band that I followed, man. I was, again, listening to it later. They were still putting out music. Again, kind of trying to relive the glory days, not as prominent, but the lead singer continued to be pretty prominent for different reasons. My TJ Jazzy Jeff Bert, this one's, if I have to, don't give it away, but if I had to guess based on your criteria, one of the biggest songs of all time is a ballad from this band, and I'm going with none other than Poison. Poison is my TJ Jazzy Jeff. Okay, we want to talk. Every rose has its thorn.
Every rose has its thorn.
Nothing but a good time. Talk dirty to me. Unskinny Bob. Something to believe in. That's another really good ballad.
Oh yeah.
I Want Action. Look what the cat dragged in. I mean, such good songs here. I really like this band, man. They're from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. That's the name of the town they're from.
Poison.
Poison.
Not wrong.
Yeah, from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania in 1983. Originally, again, Bret Michaels. He's the guy that we all know. He was doing reality love TV shows. was it the Rock of Love or whatever. But Bobby Dahl, the bassist, Ricky Rocket was the drummers. How much of an 80s name is that? I loved Ricky Rocket's drumming, by the way. He was just one of those really solid, awesome, great fills, great stuff like that. Man, just so many. And then guitar, we want to talk about a great name, CC DeVille. CC, pick up that guitar and talk to me. I love it, man. Yeah, so 80s, they even kind of were around in the 90s, things like that. I mentioned a lot of their songs. Gosh, they just were a fun band, man. We want to talk about going back to last week. Daniel Eller's criteria was that he just wanted fun songs. Poison's just a fun band, man. They just had music that was just tons of fun to listen to. A great mix of pop and rock together. Now, I will say this. Dave, to your criteria, CC DeVille is often considered probably one of the worst guitarists when it comes to the 80s. And again, they weren't like, you listen to the solos and a lot of their songs, you're like, oh gosh, what is he doing? But it fit the band for whatever reason. It just worked.
Well, I mean, I think you like sometimes you hear somebody say about a band, well, I wish the singer would go more this way, but I understand he's fitting in with the band. I mean, I think there was a lot of that with CC. I mean, basically, here's what the sound we want. Let's not overcomplicate it. Run with it.
They weren't Testament. They weren't writing these master songs. They were just it was party music, man, is what it was. And and their music, was I don't think they set out to be the greatest musicians.
I don't know that there's more hair metal than this.
Yeah, that's a lot of hair.
They did. Yeah. They did, again, the whole makeup and the eyeshadow and all these things. They were all about that kind of stuff. The glam. They were really more on
they were teasing their hair better than anybody around, bro. I know you can't see it because of my picture, but this is wild. But
their hair had a separate tour bus.
That's Aquanet.
Hey, I'll just say this: you took my number 5. This is my first Benny off the list. I kind of figured it was going to get taken even before it would get to me, even in the Bennies, even if it lasted. This is just one of those bands that, man, they're filled with hits, man. And I will say this: as a kid in the 80s, I don't know that Bret Michaels, if he's at the very top of what 80s girls were looking for in the glam rock scene, right? He was a bad boy, but he was almost so good looking. He was pretty. And like, that was the whole thing our dads used to make fun of, was like, you love this stuff. I mean, like, what are you doing? Like, oh, whatever. But I mean, looking back, I'm like, yeah, I can see it. I mean, and even they're still touring again at the Motley Crue. Poison was half that tour was riding with Motley Crue, and that, I mean, it was like $250 tickets, but Poison was half of that too. Wow. I love this pick. Yeah, I'm sad you took it because I know I was going to use it, but it wasn't going to last.
Brian Basketballs came on and he said, I just wish I had my hair from the 80s. Which I responded, I was born in 89, so my 80s hair is pretty much the same as my hair today.
It's about same style. I haven't changed my style since then.
Yeah, hey, welcome to the Summit Squad, everybody in the chat. Leave your top 4. Poison rules. See you guys. Brian, thank you for being here. Congratulations, hitting 1,000 subscribers, Brian. We've been watching you from a distance. Zach's in the house. Zach's from around me, Andy. He lives up in the Blue Ridge Mountains, bro. Like up in the. So I don't know that. Yeah, he actually went to school at Parkview, which is my cluster, which is crazy. We're gonna have him on sometime, along with Vogs and all those guys. Welcome to the show. Listen, we're halfway through this thing, man, and it is time to do a couple commercials. Now, look, guys, if you haven't been here before, Andy and I are both youth pastors, generations pastors. We serve we serve under a higher power that we believe is bigger and better. Even though we're talking about Motley Crue, we connect on a different level. And we have started a ministry not only that reaches nerds and geeks and folks like you guys, but we've also joined in with a collaboration of a bunch of other people up there in that top corner of people just like-minded like us, called the Culture Box. And Culture Box is a bunch of guys. They play Dungeons and Dragons. They review cartoons, old movies. They read books and watch Gundam, and they do geeky devotionals, and they spend time at cons like we do. And it's a great group of guys. As you look down at the bottom, is all of our socials. You can look up all of those, but the very last two, Discord, that's where you can kind of talk real time with us at all time. So if you jump in that Discord, and the next one, Culture Box, that's where you can find all of our friends. Andy, let's let somebody know about one of our friends over at the Culture Box today.
Yeah, man, we have some good friends like you mentioned over there. And tonight I want to shout out our good friends over at the Cellcast. Cellcast is live currently right now as we're live. So don't leave us to go to them, but maybe catch the replay. Go check out the Cellcast. But our good friend Drew, which I'll talk about here in just a second, he has been sending a weekly update in our group chat with them, just checking in on everyone. So he's a great guy, man. Just really cares about everybody, and just an awesome community. Like Kirk said, please, go check them out. I'm going to highlight Cellcast tonight, but I encourage you to go check them all out. So let's talk about the Cellcast. The Cellcast is hosted by Jacob and Drew, and they review animated movies and TV shows, discussing what they appreciate about the medium in whatever form it takes, whether it's a traditional hand-drawn animated movie, claymation shorts, or a 3D CGI series. Check out some animated reviews when you subscribe to the Cellcast at thecellcast.podbean.com. And don't forget, Cell is spelled with a C and a single L at thecellcast.podbean.com. Go check them out. We had the privilege of being on there multiple times. We got to talk about Warriors of Virtue a while back in their bad movie room. That was a fun one. I don't know if you guys remember that movie. It's kind of a fever dream movie. But there's one that's going to be coming up. I think we pre-recorded it way in advance for some scheduling purposes.
Shorts.
We talked about some shorts, man. We saluted our shorts. So a ton of fun time spent with them. But again, like I said, go check out everybody over there, Culture Box. Check out the Cellcast. And hey, when you go check them out, let them know that the Rushmore Show sent you there.
Nice.
Yeah, and let's do the second part of our announcements here at our commercial time. Hey guys, we are proudly letting you guys know that we are launching a ministry called Reboot right here right here, these two faces in the sunglasses. Reboot, it's an unconventional ministry. Let's see our little commercial.
Prepare to make the jump to light speed.
They're getting closer.
Oh yeah? Watch this.
Well, guys, if you've hung along with us this long, you are welcome to join in with praying for us and kind of seeing what God does in these crazy ministries. We have decided to start doing a ministry that we go to conventions and we reach out to not only the vendors, but the people coming in. Instead of being someone outside the doors telling you that you cannot like Voltron and Mario Brothers and G.I. Joes and all these different action figures and dress up like your favorite cosplay. Instead of doing that, we go in and say, hey, we're just like you, and we were changed by the word of God, which is crazy. To shout out to Dave, who told us he's pushing 24, 25 years of sobriety. Andy and I are both about 10 years of sobriety. I'm on my 13. I think Andy's around 9. And that is only because amazing people connected with us and told us what the love of Christ and the love of community can be. And so we're called Reboot. It's a play off of Getting Saved and Born Again, but it's Reboot, nerdy. It's a nerdy ministry, and so you're going to be seeing this unconventional ministry real soon on our homepage. You can go and click all of our nerd in the word nerdy sermons, and there's only one out there. It's from the first convention, but there's a second one getting done on April 20th. Andy's going to be preaching at St. Tammany Collectors Con. You'll be able to see all kinds of amazing things at St. Tammany Collectors Con, maybe an interview or two with Sergeant Slaughter or Ming from Comic Book Men, or maybe even Batgirl from back in the 60s. And there's a couple artists from the Ninja Turtles and some other stuff. We're going to be interviewing. We're the MCs. We're going to be doing the cosplay. We're going to be doing all that stuff and hanging out and then preaching an amazing message to our friends at the convention. So be praying for us. If you want to know more, drop down in the Discord and talk to us. If you have any prayer requests, send them in the comments. Hey, guys, look, we are not a Christian podcast, but we're not a Christian channel. So we are, that is who we are at our heart. And thank you for being here. But now it's time to hit the second half of our mountain and get this thing moving along, man. So, Dave, that is, you are now up, and it is our link. And it is our link. Who's your second best? Your second best hair metal band?
Oh, he's muted.
Muted, and let's unmute him. Can't unmute. Oh, you muted
Yeah,
yourself.
there we go. I did it to myself because I wanted to make sure I wasn't making noise while you were talking there. Wow. This is one where I'm gonna have to throw out Van Halen.
Ooh, wow.
Man.
Tell us
I'm
about
doing it. I'm doing it.
All right, tell me about it. Gosh.
Well, I obviously the hair was there in many different forms. The fashion was there. And wow, the musical talent was just amazing. And there was more than I could ever understand at the time, and still, about the guitar playing. And that every song and every album would be this whole evolution of new things he was doing with guitar or keyboards, designing different pieces of equipment in cooperation with his sponsors and stuff like that. Eddie was just special. And I think that's the one I got to throw out there.
Dude, this is a solid pick, man. Yeah, you want to talk about musicianship, every single one of them in their own field of playing is just fantastic. It's just fantastic. So I love this. I mean, Hot for Teacher, like that.
Oh yeah.
The drums, the guitar. About Eruption. I mean, if we want to talk about the greatest guitar solos of all time,
Mean Streets.
Yeah. So this is one of those bands, right? I don't know that they were hair metal to begin with. They did a stint of hair metal for sure, and then they probably ended outside of that maybe a little bit. They've gone through a couple different lead singers. You definitely have Van Hagar, and you have the beginning with David Lee Roth. I am a fan of both sides for two different reasons. Right Now Right Now is one of my favorite songs of all time. I every time I hear it, I see the video, I hear the keyboard in the background, playing. But Jump, Panama, and if you go back to our very first March, it was probably episode 11 or 12 ever, and we're just hit 113 today. We talked about guitarist, and Eddie Van Halen was definitely my number one. Guy is just he's just a genius, or was a genius. We talk about his son Wolfgang. We talk about all kinds of stuff. But Van Halen is to me, they didn't make my top 4 because for me there was a little bit outside and inside, but they were definitely, I was definitely going to nail them if you guys chose not to choose them because of not being fully maybe hair metal. But I love the pick because this is one of those that they're legit. And I don't care if you don't like Sammy or you don't like David, pick a side. They're both great. I like both of them. So, and the new guy, the younger guy that was with him for a little bit, he ain't bad either. So I don't remember his name, but
I still remember Sammy describing Right Now and how the piano part came about, because he'd already had the lyrics written for quite some time. And then he heard Eddie at some point, and this was after they tried to do something with it. But then this is a while later. I don't know if it was weeks or months later. He just hears Eddie just noodling around on the piano, and that was it. And he says, "That's it."
The singer for Extreme, which they were like,
"Hey, Dennis is here." I don't know why. I'm just noticing that. I was looking down.
He just said, "I just got here." He dropped in his TJ Motley Crue. That's a crush.
Look, he said Poison. Rosie's Poison, TJ's Motley Crue. You literally just flipped mine, Dennis. So hey, we're right there on the same wavelength. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. Hey, when I Van Halen, we cannot not mention this. One of my favorite scenes from The Wedding Singer. Hey man, take off my Van Halen shirt before they break up.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, that's so realistic. I mean, at the time, it was like every little thing that you had that like the cassettes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you had a poster, it was just like it was so. It was just so much fun to put energy into watching.
Now, here's one thing I'll say about Van Halen. I liked Hagar before Van Halen, but I don't necessarily like Roth after Van Halen. So,
I liked him whenever he did. I think it was it Skyscraper? Whenever he had Steve Vai as his guitarist.
Nobody.
Yeah. He had some pretty good ones on there, but you're right. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Dude, Panama and Jump. I go right back to like a Goldberg scene, like back into the 80s, like back to 1985.
That bridge part in Panama is just off the chain. It's the smoothness of what he's playing there, and the dynamics of it, just awesome.
I love this pick. I was just hoping they would make it till later because of the criteria, but it's everybody's their own criteria, and I love your pick, man.
Dennis. Let me just say this. Can I give a shout out?
You're behind me, right?
Shout out to Dennis real quick. Oh, there you go. Hey, Dennis.
There you go.
Don't leave. I know you're usually in here on the live in the chat and everything. Stick around. You're gonna love one of my first Benjamin. I know it's not going to get talked about. That's where I bring in my controversy. So stick around for that. It's gonna be fun.
That's when you roll it into the room right there, huh?
Yeah. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So,
is it gonna be the band that Daniel was talking about a couple weeks ago? Maybe.
No. Definitely not. No, not them. But it'll be a lot of fun. Anyway, all right. So Bert, with your medicine worn off, here we go, man. Where are we going? The two on your list.
We're over here.
Get the beep button ready.
I want to say, let's go with the Scorpions.
Oh yeah.
Hello, the Moskva.
Solid.
Down to Gorky Park.
I love it.
So sinister when I say it.
Still love
Rock You Like a Hurricane. Oh my God. I used to punch in walls to that song, and it wasn't even that hard. Oh my gosh. That's so crazy. No One Like You, Rock You Like a Hurricane, and Wind of Change. Like Wind of Change. That I try to sing. I like the Scorpions, man.
I'm getting a little bummed out. I'm losing Benjamins quickly. Scorpions was definitely on my pick as far as, dude, Winds of Change is one of my favorite songs. It's one of those cry songs that brings me right to a moment with my family, hanging out with the kid, my sisters, and just like Thanksgiving, or like it brings you right there, and just Gorky Park. I remember having to look up where the heck is Gorky Park. It was so, but I love this thing. Good pick.
This is
I gotta say, Scorpions. There's a live performance. It must have been on a show at some point back, right after the song was released, and the vocal performance on that was just absolutely amazing. It's easy to not realize how good the vocals are in that song unless you see it performed live. Just stunning.
Big City Nights by Scorpions. Big City Nights. I love
it. Love it. Good. That's a good one,
man.
Oh, yeah, that's another Benjamin for me, man. I'm a little bummed because this is good stuff.
Also, here's the thing. As cliche as the song is, and as vanilla and as over probably played as it is, listen to "Rock You Like a Hurricane" and you're without your heart pumping, and you're not alive. Because there's no way you can't like blast that song and just be like, that intro is. Man, it's so good. Honestly, the intro is better than the rest of the song. Like, I'm cool after about 30, 40 seconds of the song. I'm like, all right, good, I got it. Like, but it's a great song. So, Winds of Change, everything that we said. This is a fantastic pick. You also took it from my Benjamins. So, way to go.
Oh, it's all about the Benjamins.
All about the Benjamins, baby.
Not quite yet, but
all right, man.
The Bennies.
Dennis, oh my gosh, I'm talking to Dennis. I'm texting Dennis right now in a private chat throughout this. So that's what I thought of. But Kirk, let's go to you. Who's your link, man?
All right, man. So this is Link at number 2 on the mountain. Hey, Andy, I wasn't sure. You mentioned a band from Los Angeles earlier, and I thought you could be one of this, but we've already said Motley Crue. I'm going with another band from Los Angeles. I'm going with some of the coolest names of all time. I'm going none other than Axl / Izzy and Duff, Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses. Listen, 1985, Appetite for Destruction. You talk about glam metal. You talk about heavy metal. You talk about just hits after hits. You talk about the girls. You talk about the sex, drugs, and rock and roll scene. If you saw this picture behind me, it is really big right over here on top. It says Guns N' Roses, and I kind of clipped that one off. But man, Axl Foley, Axl. Yeah, man.
That's a great one.
GR Lies. Look, the whisper song, like the whistle song note.
Oh yeah, Patience,
brother. Patience. Gotta have patience. But man, November Rain. I mean, but you talk about going into the 90s a little bit. These guys, I mean, they're still jamming. And I'll just say, that concert was Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, Poison, and one other band. So it's a great pick. And Use Your Illusion 1 and 2, which was 91. This is my childhood. Listening to these guys, that Appetite for Destruction album was fantastic. I think of the Beavis and Butthead quite a bit when I think of Guns N' Roses, right?
That was their target audience, yes.
Yeah. Guns N' Roses, bro. That's going to be my link. Oh, look at here.
Nice.
The link showed up for the party.
Link is here, and also sort of kind of a slash hat. It's the closest thing I've got.
That's true.
So here's the deal. I am in the minority when it comes to Guns N' Roses. I think they're okay. I will say this: their hits are great. I don't know if there's a band with a steeper fall off than what happened with Guns N' Roses. as far as, you're talking about Appetite for Destruction is a fantastic album. Your Use Your Illusions, they started kind of going in this, I love November Rain. I love Patience. I love these songs, but they were kind of going to a more, I don't want to say concept album, I guess kind of a concept album because it was a two-parter. And it just, there was.
I will say this. Maybe I can help you out, Andy. Hey, maybe I can help you out, Andy. It looks like you clicked out anyways. Hello, Andy. But one of the things that I saw about researching these guys was a lot of these bands, and you can talk about Van Halen a little bit, that they started kind of more 70s heavy, went into the glam rock, kind of whatever, and then they kind of came out. But one of the things that we didn't mention yet is that what ended hair metal and what ended glam rock was alternative and grunge. And I think, in my opinion, Guns N' Roses was trying to kind of bend over a little bit and pull out some of that, and it didn't work. And it just never hit the way they wanted it to, and they kind of fell off.
I knew Dennis was going to be mad. Dennis is a very big Guns N' Roses fan. He's flipped out because maybe so. Maybe that's the truth. Again, I'm not hating on them. It's a band that I just don't see what everyone else sees. I guess that may be the best way to put it.
Well, I'm kind of with you that I really liked all their stuff, and I played Appetite for Destruction end to end over and over again. But today, I don't go back and listen to anything that they've ever done. So that's one of the differences for me is that they, where the trajectory that they went, it didn't launch like some of the other bands. But I tell you, oh man, that was just a great album. That was the album I focused on with them. 100%.
I think a big part. You're right, Kirk. That when they came out, because Appetite was '87, so this is again pushing that end. This glam hair metal era was really 81.
I saw that too. Like somebody was trying to figure out when the window was, and somebody said 20 years, and somebody was like, it wasn't nowhere near 20 years. It was more like 10. And somebody comes in and says, I don't even think it was 10. It was more probably like 7 years, like 83, like maybe 83, 84 to like 91, 92 ish. And because prior to that was, we saw Leonard Skinner down below, but the 70s heavy metal, hard rock kind of vibe. And then 92, 93 was the birth of Seattle. Like, man, everything grunge known to man. Yeah. It changed the rock culture. And there was a couple bands that I saw were considered hair metal, and I was like, oh man, they're more grunge to me. I'm not going to pick them. But one of them, Andy, I wanted to pick just because I wanted to say their name. But I don't think they're hair metal. They're just not to me. But hey, we'll see. Maybe they get mentioned today.
Yeah. So awesome. I mean,
also intros in the history, like we talked about it in music intros, Andy. Right? Was it November Rain? No, it's Live and Let Die. Is it November Rain?
For what? What are we talking about?
Your intro. Gosh,
or is it Civil War?
Welcome to the Jungle has a great intro.
Oh, Welcome to the Jungle is awesome. No. I'll think of it later. Yeah. Gosh, why did it slip my mind? Is it November Rain? I think it's November Rain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to mine. I know we've talked about GNR quite a bit here. Any other comments about GNR?
We have music outros next year. Dennis, you're on. Outros.
That would be
Sweet Child. Thank you.
Yeah, that one was there for sure. Yeah, why?
Thank you, Dennis.
Oh, definitely.
I love
AC/DC and Metallica had the best intros. Yeah, and we mentioned a little bit of those. All right, you're up, man.
Yep. So, continuing my list, the top two were cemented from the beginning. My George is probably going to be controversial, but I will say that this one is not controversial, and I know that because it is a Rushmore. I'm going Testament. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not doing it. I wish I did. I didn't do it. I really do wish I did that, but I'm not changing my list. I'm going to keep with what I went with. My link is Bon Jovi. There's no doubt in my mind. Bon Jovi's up there. Richie Sambora is one of those. I again, probably underrated guitarists.
Yeah.
Another guy who used the talk box and had a signature sound and everything. And I love this band. Everything that you had mentioned before, I don't know. You probably mentioned it because you mentioned like 7,000 songs that they put out. And but Runaway is one of my favorite songs. I just love that. The little keyboard stuff is super fun. I'll say this about Bon Jovi. This was another band that there is a home video somewhere in maybe my parents' house, maybe my grandparents' house. I don't know. But we used to film ourselves doing concerts, me and my brother. And we would pick up a broom, an air guitar. We would put on some wigs and we would just pretend, again, I don't know, 8, 9 years old, something like that. We would put on a concert, and there's a video cassette somewhere that I'll have to find of me and my brother singing, doing a Bon Jovi concert.
Nice.
I loved it so much. Again, everything you said before, out of New Jersey, Richie Sambora, David Bryan, Tico Torres, which is a great name.
Torres,
fantastic drummer too, by the way. Hugh McDonald is a part of this group. Man, probably next to, is up there. If we were to put, again, to Bert's comment that he said, if we were to put a Rushmore of karaoke songs, I mean, God, you could fill it with Bon Jovi songs. You could easily do that. Man, they're so good. They are continuing to put stuff out. The cool thing about this, and last thing I'll say here, as a 90s, 2000s kid, they were putting out solid songs in the 2000s. It's My Life, and I wasn't going to mention that as one of their songs in that genre or time of the hair metal, but man, that's a good song. Like,
I feel like that was in a movie. Was that in a movie? It's My Life?
Every song in the 2000s was in a movie. So I think that somewhere you probably
maybe a TV show.
Maybe so. Who knows? But yeah, what a cool man. I love that. I love this.
Hey, by the way, Runaway was their very first debut hit, like their debut single.
Yeah. For sure.
Oh, really?
Which is cool. 1983, they put that out, and debut single managed to crack the top 40 in 1984 from their first album. Yeah.
Rayu does a cover of Runaway, I believe, and it's really cool. I wish I would have remembered that one last week. That would have been fun. I don't know if it made my top 4, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Good pick, man. So we talked about Bon Jovi already, and if you guys got anything else you remember, maybe that you want to mention? If not, we'll jump in. It's the Georgetown.
Last thing too, I'll say is that they were really cool in the sense that not only were they rock and pop, but they actually worked in some country kind of side too. Not like Tim McGraw country. Right. I'm not talking about that, but like the Western and
the melodic.
Yeah, all of that stuff, and it was very, very theatrical, almost like Wanted Dead or Alive. That is just like it's a painting. That song is just a painting. So it's
what like the
chimes
or whatever they used.
Oh yeah. Oh, You Give Love a Bad Name. That's what they did. You Give Love a Bad Name. That's the cover from Atreyu. Definitely check it out. Bon Jovi feeds the hungry from his restaurant. He's very much.
Yeah, he's very philanthropic.
That's a word.
That's a big word. The big one. Good one, Dennis. Good one. All right, so this is it. Number 1, the George.
We're here to the number 1.
The George.
Dave, what you got?
The George. Now, I know there might be some controversy on whether or not they would be hair metal, but they're metal, and they were in the 80s, and they're my favorite
Do it.
Megadeth.
Do it.
Megadeth. Wow.
Megadeth.
Oh
He
my
sells, but who's buying?
God.
Masterpiece. And then so far, so good. So what? You know, it was such a new sound of heavy metal. And Dave always did the bluesy guitar stuff, and then he always had another guitarist. I think Poland was the guy who was the guitarist back on those albums. And then later it was Friedman, but had somebody who was just technically gifted that could make, classical sounding scales. So, and drummer, everything, the bass, it just, I saw them live, once. Obviously it wasn't in the 80s, but they're my number one. They're my number one there.
I love this pick. I was not thinking them for hair metal because I'm not saying that they're a hair metal band, but to your criteria and how your list is unfolded, this absolutely makes so much sense, dude. Symphony of Destruction, that riff.
Oh.
Yeah. Symphony of Destruction, Holy Wars. I think this was 90s, maybe it was late 80s. A Tout Le Monde is a fantastic song.
That was, I think that was off the same album as
a little bit later.
Symphony of Destruction. Yeah,
it was on Euthanasia, which was 94.
Oh, okay.
So a little bit later, but fantastic song.
Yeah.
Tornado of Souls, P Cells, like you already said, was the bass line from the MTV News.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Golly. So playing in bands back in the day, Dennis probably remembers this too. We had a guitarist back in the day, Greg Brown was his name, and he loves Megadeth, and we would play Megadeth songs all the time. Dude, is it Holy Wars? Yes.
It has to be the best metal song of all time.
Oh, wow.
Especially based on people's reactions to it. I like to watch, because I realized I'm a person who I'll watch the same movie again, I'll watch the same TV show again, stuff like that. So I find myself on reaction channels seeing people getting into it. And then when I see people react to Holy Wars, they just don't understand how they get so many different riffs and changes and all that stuff to work together.
Song is wild. It changes so many times in this soul. It's like, how many solos are in Holy Wars? Like 7?
Yeah.
It's crazy. And then
I think Tornado of Souls has like 14 or something.
Yeah. And then I'm scrolling through it too. Sweating Bullets. That's a great song.
Oh,
hello, me.
Architecture of Aggression, Hangar 18, just countless.
Yeah.
I love this pick, man. I love it. I don't know if I call him hair metal, but I just love talking.
I don't know if I call him hair metal, but I will say this. I was not on the Megadeth train ever. I came late to that game, and I admire them. That I was not a fan when they were going. There was a little more heavy than I was into back then. But I will say this. I absolutely bought the Universal Soldier soundtrack just for the Crush 'Em song that they did for Goldberg, who was in that movie and was his intro in WCW for quite a bit. I love that song. But I mean they rock. I mean, Holy War is way up there in iconic songs. But I just wasn't on that in that world for many years. And like I said, I respect them. I don't know that I would consider it.
Lewis just said, "Cool, I'm gonna go listen to Megadeth now." I've got Holy War blasted in my ear right now because it is such a good song. And here's the thing. I mean, most people know, right? Let Go from Metallica for drinking too much, right?
Yeah. Right? If you party too hard for Metallica, you might have a problem.
So he got kicked out, but a lot of Kill 'Em All was written by Dave Mustaine, at least riff.
Oh yeah.
Seek and Destroy, all that kind of stuff. So I love it, man.
His rhythm guitar work is just absolutely amazing.
Yeah. All right. Bert, I don't know if Megadeth had a ballad. They probably did. They played a lot of music.
I cannot
Well, To
confirm or
Belong is
deny
probably
if I
it.
like them. I was actually told by someone with a degree not to listen to Megadeth anymore.
Oh,
Although I do like Megadeth, I could listen to Megadeth, but I should not go there.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on which brain you take into it. I think if it's too
Definitely at this time
vulnerable,
of
then
night.
you're right. You should back out of it.
Probably
you're
early in
not
the
ready for
morning
it.
when I'm half awake. I think it won't have it won't sink its claws into me and force me to
But after dark,
Oh, no.
late evening hours,
I'm gonna be
it's over.
streaking
No.
like that dude and like we're streaking. You gotta go to KFC with Snoop and Loop.
Frank.
Dude, that's what's gonna happen if I listen to Megadeth after 8 p.m.
Frank
Central
the Tank.
Time.
Oh
Yeah, Frank
no.
the Tank. Yeah, I'm gonna turn on Frank the Tank.
Frank the Tank.
We're going streaking.
Blue
Hangar
Hero
18.
Boy.
Hangar 18 is another good one, man. I'm looking through their songs.
That one
Hangar
is
18
that's
fantastic.
just insane. Yeah. And you got Angry Again. Trust.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
You're up, man.
Listen to Megadeth later tonight. So
Nice.
we're on to you, man.
Yeah,
What you got for your number one?
Welcome back, Zach.
Zach, what's up? Since I'm up, I'm gonna show you this. I'm gonna put this out. This is my pick, and I'm gonna be the only one in the world. And if I'm right, it's gonna be awesome. This is gonna be the MVP of this upcoming NBA season. It's Grady Dick. Grady Dick will be the MVP, and I got this dang card that looks so shiny. I don't know what it is, but it seems good. So I have 4 Grady Dicks right now, and he's gonna be the MVP of the new Larry Bird. Check out my short. So I'm calling it on the Rushmore Show.
I was like, what is happening? Grady Dick. Okay.
Grady Dick, buddy. He's gonna be. Yeah, I don't know. I
All right, Bert.
Okay, so my number one is Ricky was a young boy. He had a heart of stone. And I'm going with 18 to Life, and that's Skid Row. And I remember you.
Question.
Whoa! Wow.
That's solid. I'm glad it made it on the mountain.
I had to put it, man. I was like, Skid Row, what are you doing down there? No, sir, you're going back. You're going up. The way we're going, I remember what you've done for me, Skid Row. You had 2 things. 18 in Life is like when I graduated from high school, and I'm like, holy crap, what am I going to do with my life? Let's just destroy the world. And then I remember you kind of brings me back to chill me. And it's like, okay, these are 2 pieces of my life right there. That's my criteria, and I'm sticking to it. And I like the Skid Row.
Dude.
Nice.
Such a good song. I mean, so many good songs. Slave to the Grind is fantastic, dude.
Yeah, Youth Gone Wild and oh my God, Wasted Youth. That's like the younger me, you know.
Definitely another Benny.
Here's now Sebastian's a guy who went a little bit off the deep end.
Oh yeah, you punched that one girl or threw the beer bottle at some chick and then jumped in and told a dude like, "Why are you filming?" I remember that dude.
Nah, he went crazy, and I think now they're still touring or putting music out, and they have a different person on vocals right now. I think they have a lady. I think they have a woman vocalist right now. I could be wrong, or at one point they had it, but yeah. So. It's a good pick, man. I love this. You know, I remember you. I'll remember you. There's a ballad right there. So that's good stuff. Got a couple people in here. Callie and Jordan Squad is here. 99 minutes.
Callie and Jordan are going to join us for a show there, Andy. Callie and Jordan reaching out to them on Instagram, I believe. But welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the show.
Now is vocals. That's right. And wait, so Dennis, he is about to play like at Southport Hall, like Sebastian Bach is going to play.
Sebastian Bach is going to play at Southport. What?
That's where we're at now in life, you know.
Wow.
We've arrived at that point on the graph. We didn't know we were going to get there.
A lot of people that aren't from Southern Louisiana. You got to tell them what Southport is.
And, you know, it's a little venue down here, New Orleans area. So it's Dennis, remind me again. We played at Southport, didn't we? We definitely did. There's so many memories that have escaped me from that time of life. But yeah, Southport Hall and a music venue. It's one of those. Yeah, we did. There we go. Or yeah, no, never. We didn't. Right. I went to shows there. Who knows? But yeah,
Never.
it's a little venue.
Welcome, 99 Midnight Gamer and Card Battle Entertainment. Hey, look, this is for you. Hey, look, welcome to the show. I haven't seen your name in there before, but if I missed it before, I apologize. We call them the Summit Squad. So reach down and drop your top 4 and let us know. We're talking about hair metal. That's how you be a part of the crew, man. So thank you. Hit the subscribe, the like, join us. And we got some more shows coming up soon. But man, yeah, Skid Row. First thing that I think about is Skid Row is what a name. I mean, like, listen, I know I haven't talked about their music too much. Skid Row, if you guys know, I'm in the ministry, or I do ministry. And one of my ministry, I moved to Atlanta to do homeless and sex trafficking. And then there is a Skid Row in every single city, but not the Skid Row like the original, the Skid Row that's still a detriment to the world over in Los Angeles, California area. And I have one of my my wife's boss, actually, Jeannie Mayo, her son does a ministry in Skid Row, and it is it's just insane what's happening over there. It's called the Red Eye. And so they go out late at night with the drugs and everything. So that's the first thing I think of. The second thing is I'm upset because this is another one of those bands that was on and obviously it's right here behind my right shoulder. Your left, I guess. Skid Row is absolutely an amazing testament, if you will. They're boom, boom, boom. For the 80s, man. Sebastian Bach. Listen, that guy. Wow. I remember as a kid thinking that guy's going to die soon. And you can't kill a bad weed, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Like he looked terrible back then. And I can't believe he's playing at Southport. I mean, I don't even know how he's going to get in the building. I mean, he seems like he would have withered away to nothing by now, but unless he got sober. Yeah. Did he get sober? Did he get, like, I don't know. He just looked terrible.
Is that Sebastian Bach is playing Southport Hall, and I said this, but it is a tiny little venue. It's not a big deal. Like Sebastian Bach not playing House of Blues, which House of Blues is not huge, right? But this has a little bit more notoriety, or Fillmore Theater, different things like that. Like Dennis just messaged me the event or whatever for it, but it's wild, man. It's wild,
dude. That's
but in the prime, great pick. I love this pick, man.
All right, well, yeah. I'm gonna jump in now, man. It's my George, Andy. I don't know how we kept this secret, but secret enough. But I mean, of course. Listen, I am absolutely, without shadow of a doubt, it's one of my favorite bands of all time. I'm crushing. Bert. It's Def Leppard, baby. And listen, I have been a Def Leppard fan since I was like 4. My sister, my youngest sister, which I wanted her to be in the show, she's come in once or twice before, but Def Leppard is one of the innovators. Did I click out? Def Leppard is one of the innovators of hair metal. I mean, Joe Elliott, 1977, I believe they started over in England. Pyromania, Hysteria. And not to mention like the amazing hits, because I can listen to The Vault, their greatest hits album, over and over again. You talked about ballads, you love song, you talk about Autograph, you talk about Pour Some Sugar on Me. I mean, all the hits. But listen, this band kept going on after their drummer lost his arm. I mean, like, and he plays one arm, 2 feet. Like, it's crazy. I love Def Leppard, probably more than I should. But it is a very nostalgic thing. It's very Joe Elliott was wallpapered on my sister's room. I even like some of their older stuff, which didn't get a whole lot. But look, let me go back. The concert, Def Leppard, Motley Crue, Poison, all of those were at the same group. And I am going to this concert Matter of fact, we're supposed to go to camp, Andy. And as soon as we go to camp, I got to figure a way to like fly back or get back as fast as possible because we're going to see Def Leppard, Motley Crue, and no, it's Steve Miller Band. And I think Joan Jett is opening, but it's June 17th. We'll be going. My sister's going all over the country. I mean, she's going from California to New York to see Def Leppard. I've seen him like 3 times. I've seen him with. Oh no, I lie. I've seen him with Journey once, and they're with Journey again. So it's Def Leppard, Journey, and Steve Miller, and I believe Joan Jett is opening. But the other time was with Motley Crue, and that ticket was like $250. This one was pretty expensive too. My wife got it to me for Christmas. I mean, I don't know how many more tours they're going to actually do, but I love Def Leppard. And when you said it, I was like, okay, Def Leppard. Now where do I go from there? But yeah, there you go.
Yeah, here's the thing. I put this in our group chat. My Haley Williams / Paramore is your Def Leppard. Like there was, it was the worst kept secret, you know, in the history of Rushmore. At least if you know Kirk. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, this is a great band. Funny story I'll say about this. And you mentioned Rick Allen, drummer, lost his arm. You know, one of these awesome feats to be able to do what he does.
2 feet. He used 2 feet.
He used 2 feet. But you know, the electric side of things, but also, so Dennis will remember this. We were playing a show around, I believe it was around Christmas time. Yeah, it was around Christmas time. And the night before the show, I fell and I dislocated my shoulder. Went to the ER, had to get it popped back in place. I was not drumming the next night. And
I have to know where this is going.
Last minute, we got David Finn, who's been on the show. He's Finn the Collector. He's a good friend of the show, to fill in for drums. Now, this is not, you're not 4 on the floor just playing a simple drum beat. This is like death thrash metal kind of stuff. So he had no time to really warm up. He kind of knew the song somewhat, but all night I kept hearing, well, the guy from Def Leppard can do it. How can you do it?
Yeah.
If I had $1 for every single time that said, then I would have covered everyone's tab that night. I mean, it was wild. The
guy from Def Leppard could do it. Look at this comment here. Hey, let me just say, Dennis, you're absolutely right. It might not be their last, but you never know when their last is. But I will say this. Have you seen Phil lately? I mean, like, man, he doesn't look good. He doesn't look good. And I hope it's not a Rushmore curse, but he doesn't look good, man. He doesn't look good.
Yeah, in all honesty, Dennis is throwing it out there. Literally, I dislocated my shoulder taking out the trash. I fell outside and just some freak thing.
Yikes.
Completely. Like my shoulder, this shoulder was like, it's hard to tell with the black shirt, but this shoulder was like in my armpit. It was gnarly, man. It was no fun. And yeah, good times though. But apparently, because the guy from Def Leppard can do it, how can't you? And that's the voice that I think of everyone when they are at a show. That's how they talk. But
it seems like that seems like a line in like PTU or wedding singer or something. The guy in Def Leppard could do it.
Dennis, I think your dad actually made that comment, and he doesn't sound anything like that. But I think Dennis's dad is one of the guys who told me.
You know, Dennis. I saw a picture of Dennis, and Dennis, was that your dad? I don't know, but I was more in tune to that beard. Dennis, you're rocking the silver, dude. I love it. Got that beard going. He was at a concert the other night.
Yeah.
So
good pick, man. All right, man. Well.
All right, man. So finish us off. Is this another?
Here's the deal. This is the one that is going to be controversial to some, but for those that know, they know. My George, my.
Is this your Def Leppard?
Kiss is my George. Now here's the deal. I'm not even gonna mention, the Rock and Roll Nights, the Beth, all the stuff from like the makeup era of this. But there, to keep up with the times, Kiss had a whole stint of this 80s hair metal time. Heaven's on Fire, Tears Are Falling, Crazy Crazy Nights is one of my favorite songs from Kiss. Creatures of the Night, Lick It Up, Forever. If you want to talk about ballads, it's such a good song. Any Way You Slice It, Radar for Love, I Just Wanna, All Hell's Breaking Loose, Every Time I Look at You. So many good songs just from the 80s. And then I didn't even mention probably their greatest hits. Kiss did this thing where, like, in the 70s, they were this shock glam rock deal. And a lot of these bands that we are talking about in the hair metal genre, the Motley Crues, the Poisons, these kind of groups, and some others that maybe talked about in their in the Benjamins, they were inspired by Kiss and what Kiss was doing with the makeup and the pyro and the costumes and just all of these kinds of things that were happening. So I had to go to Kiss. Kiss is, if you know me, is my favorite band of all time. Lick It Up is kind of their best song. It's a good song. But dude, yeah, there's so many great. Yeah, look, Rev Rad said, I saw Kiss on their first farewell tour. That's awesome. Their first farewell tour, by the way, was back in 1998. So they've been farewellings for almost 30 years.
You got to go see them not long back.
Yeah, so I've actually had the opportunity to see Kiss 4 times now. The first time I saw them was at Voodoo Fest down here in like 2010 time. I saw them. They actually came and played at Gretna Heritage Fest, believe it or not. They play there, which is actually a pretty big festival. They get some pretty.
I remember that and being kind of shocked that I saw that as the lineup.
Saw them there, and then I saw them years back. The Final Four was down here in New Orleans, and they had like a big Final Four concert, and Kiss headlined that one. And then actually Dennis is in here. Dennis and his wife now, I don't know if they were married. Maybe they were at the time. I don't even remember what year it was, but they got tickets and couldn't go or something, and they just gave them to me and Courtney. So that was awesome. So 4 times being able to see Kiss, they're amazing. I didn't get to see them with Ace Frehley and Peter Criss, but here's the thing, musician Dave, from this point, I'm talking 80s. I'm not even talking Peter Criss and Ace Frehley. I'm talking about Mark St. John, Vinnie Vincent, Bruce Kulick, Eric Singer, Eric Carr, who tragically passed away from cancer. Just a great one. Now, Robert is going to say this. Did Kiss sell out? Here's my favorite quote from Gene Simmons. Gene Simmons says this: "You dang right we sell out every single night." Is what he says. Yeah. But another quote that I heard was that all bands wanted to be the Beatles. Kiss wanted to be Coca-Cola. And I think that was really a big deal for them. So, yeah, but the 80s, they had this whole hair metal time. 90s came around. They had the album Revenge that came out that was almost like heavy and kind of in the grungy side of things. Kiss definitely more of a 70s band for me. I totally agree, because their big hits that people know them by, the makeup, the everything is from the 70s, but they've got some really good songs from the 80s if you give it a listen. So,
yeah, I'll just jump in here. So there were 4 bands that I thought went across the lines on maybe even 80 for 70s and 90s, because you're talking about a 6 to 10 year window for this hair metal. Kiss was up there, Van Halen was up there, so they definitely did a hair metal stint and probably inspired most of this hair metal, to be honest. And I wasn't sure if you were going to select them just because of the rules, but we break the rules. And I kind of had a feeling that if it was going to get mentioned, it was going to be Your George. So if it wasn't going to be Your George, then it wasn't going to mention it at all. So of course it is. Kiss and Paramore are his 2 favorite bands probably of all time. So we it's insane. Yeah. What do you guys like about Kiss? Or don't like?
David?
Dave's muted again.
For Kiss, I think it's those. It's always a surprise when I hear a Kiss song and I'm like, oh wait a minute, that's them. It's like it doesn't click. It takes a second to click of that. I hear the song that I like, and then oh yeah, this is that.
Yeah.
It's just I don't immediately, because I didn't listen to them as a fan through the years while they were making a lot of music, but I've heard them a million times. So it's one of those things where I don't have like the image of like holding the tape case. Or the
I know the
case
feeling though, Dave. I know the feeling. Like if you've listened to a classic rock station, which now if you listen to classic rock station, they have like early 2000s on there. But if you listen to a classic rock station, I mean, their whole library's been played. And I've been like, oh, I didn't even know that was Kiss. I mean, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because some of it is harder than the others. Some is, I mean, it's very acumen to the hair metal, like there's metal, but there's ballads. There's some harder stuff, some not harder stuff. Even though the aura is their demons and fire and paint and skulls and whatever that grandma thinks is the worst thing ever. Yeah. Unfortunately, you turn on rock station, you'll hear Linkin Park nowadays. I mean, it's crazy. So yeah,
classic rock is Linkin Park.
Meteor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
well, there's our mountains, guys. We made our top 4. Great.
Nice.
But
shout out to one of my students in the house. Welcome. Yeah, that's one of my students. So tell them hello. And shout out to them. They love when I shout them out when they show up.
Yeah.
So
the
we are there. We're at the end of the show, man, but we're not done. Thanks you for everybody hanging around. Put your top 4 in there. You've heard our top 4. Now we're going to give you our honorable mentions. We call this segment all about the Benjamins. It's kind of a fantasy football type style draft of what's left. We cannot pick anything that's already been picked. It's more lightning round. We don't have to chat a whole bunch, but stay around because we're going to let you guys know where to find Bert, where to find Dave, and what's coming up next. So let's get into it. All right, it's all about the Benjamins time. We call them Benjamins for a reason. Benjamin Franklin was widely considered the 5th guy to possibly be on Mount Rushmore, and it never happened. So we kind of think he's a side note as an honorable mention. So let's talk about our Bennies. And so this is how it's going to go. Same order as before, except it's a snake draft. So Dave, you're going to start. It's going to go to Andy, and then it's going to come back the other way, Andy to Dave.
Well, it'll be Dave, Bert, Kirk, Andy.
Yeah, all the way to Andy, and then back from Andy back to Dave, then Dave back to Andy, Andy back. Same exact order. So Dave, Bert, me, whatever. A little bit of gamesmanship here. If you know somebody might want to take one of those, I got a nice list behind me if you're trying to figure out what's left. But we're gonna go boom, boom, boom. So Dave, you're first.
Round.
Mine's Twisted Sister.
Dang it! All right.
All right.
This is gamesmanship.
Yeah,
we're not going to take it. I tell you that
you see my tagline tonight? My tagline. What are you gonna do?
All right, Bert, you're up.
I'm gonna go with Striper. That song, honestly. For Robert Springs, 1987. If I wasn't listening to Metallica, who killed it for me with Kiss, I was listening to Striper. It's Metallica and Striper to bring me down.
Christian hair metal band.
Striper.
Love that pick. Hey, all right, man, dude. Striper. Hey, listen, let me just say this real quick. Shout out to my boy Chad. He just passed away about a month ago. great friend of mine. He struggled with he had a couple of diseases that he was fighting. He died at a young age of 55, I believe. But he was a real good friend of mine. And when I first got into ministry, he was one of my first friends at the church. And I'll never forget him, like old school, burning me a CD of Striper. And he's like, hey, man, this is a Christian heavy metal band. And I was like, I mean, I know Striper, but thanks, man. And I had that forever. And I just appreciate that. So I was going to save that one to the end. I thought maybe Andy might want to jump on that. I'd had to jump on it before him. But hey, I'll jump in. I'm going to go right here over my right shoulder, White Snake. I'm going with White Snake.
Nice.
That's going to be my first Benjamin off the list.
You guys are
Great
killing
band.
me.
Great band.
You guys
Now,
are
you
just
got two back to back.
killing me. Now, here's where I get controversial. This band, and I'm going to say the name, and you're going to be like, what are you talking about? They're not hair metal at all. But if you go back to their earliest stuff, way before what we know them as, they were absolutely a glam hair metal band. My first Benjamin, Pantera. Pantera started off as a hair metal band. You go back and listen to Diamond.
Is Dennis still in here? Dennis, you think this is applicable? You think we can keep this?
Yeah, well, this is here. I was texting this about that. Diamond Dave, there he is, right there. Boom, Diamond.
Yeah.
That's Dimebag. Daryl was Diamond back then.
Yeah.
So fun stuff. In fact, Phil and Summer was actually, I believe, if I'm not wrong, was on the last album of that. The album was called Power Metal. I think it was like 88 it came out or something, right before Cowboys from Hell came out.
Anyway,
I
think Cowboys from Hell was 90 or so.
91 and then
91,
90,
okay.
90, 91, and then like 88 was Power Metal. So they actually put out 4 albums that were in that glam hair metal, power metal kind of deal. So I had to put Pantera. You mentioning Testament is what gave me that idea. So thank you for that. So Pantera. Yeah. And then since I get a second pick here, I'm just going off the deep end because if we're just going to talk, if he can pick Megadeth, if he could pick Megadeth and Exodus, or not Exodus, I'm not going to pick Exodus, Testament. I'm going to go with Ronnie James Dio. Give me Dio.
He was in a lot of lists.
Goblins.
He was in a lot of lists.
Dio.
He's somebody I went back and rediscovered recently as I was just watching different bands, and I tell you, him live, just absolutely incredible.
Dude, I love it. And then
that's a jam right there. That's a bop.
And I can add in Rainbow.
That is a bop. That's a bop.
Rainbow back in the day.
Oh yeah,
70s. So
Heaven and Hell is a great tune.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna jump in and I'm gonna go with She's My Cherry Pie. I'm going with Warrant. Warrant, baby. In Heaven.
I love that. I love that pick. All right, good stuff. All right.
I love all 5 foot of him.
That's what Dennis just said about Dio. I love all 5 feet of him. You might be generous there. I don't even know if he got to 5. But anyway, Bert, we're back to you. What's the next Benjamin? Just missed the list.
Faster Pussycat.
Oh, there it is.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's the thing.
It's right around. It's on Kirk's picture there. Too.
It's got the best typeface or font, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It does look really cool. Yeah.
Wait, am I going the wrong direction?
There it is. Yep.
Right below Warrant.
Right below Warrant. There you go. And actually, right next to Pantera, who's actually on your list. I just noticed Pantera was on there.
Pantera right next to Van Halen. That's pretty cool.
Pantalin.
Good stuff.
All right. Scorpions over here, and there's some still good ones left up there. All right, let's go back.
Dave, you get 2 picks, Dave.
Lucky.
I'm gonna throw out there White Lion.
Good stuff.
Oh man, that's a great pick. When the children cry. Dude, I cry every time. It's my favorite ballad of all time. You ever do ballads? Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. And they did a killer remake of Radar Love, too.
Yeah, Radar Love.
Which is one of those ones that, because of the guitar playing and that dude's guitar skill, it is so much better than the original. If you hear what he does,
Danish band. Wow.
if you hear what he does with his guitar on Radar Love, it is absolutely obscene, and there's so much skill. It's just next level stuff.
I love it. All right, so you got another.
Great. Oh, I see some good ones in the chat.
I'm gonna have to say, see, this one's tough. I'm gonna have to throw out there Sepultura.
Oh, Sepultura.
Sepultura. What?
No habla español, David. No habla español.
They were around in the 80s.
Wow.
They had the hair, and they rocked.
This is.
I don't know. That's a stretch too.
Pick that I've got. I love the pick. I love the band.
Yeah.
I don't know about the pick.
Are they on this list
You're
behind
like,
me?
Stretch. I didn't see it.
Bloody Roots, dude.
Oh yeah.
Good. Yeah, Roots bloody. Yeah.
Ratamahata.
Arise.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, Bert, you're up, man.
I think they only had 2 albums in the 80s, but
We'll count it.
they came in hot late 80s.
Coming in hot.
All right,
Coming in hot.
Bert, we're back to you, man.
Let's go with Extreme. The only one good song, More Than Words. One of the hardest dang songs to sing by yourself because it's 2 guys.
Which that's who Dennis said is the guy who took over from Van Halen.
Yeah, that dude, Nuno
Barry Brown,
Betancourt.
I think was his name.
Oh, is it Nuno Betancourt and the other guy, right?
Yeah. Betancourt's an incredible guitarist.
Yeah,
They
and
actually
he
had
sang,
a cool
he
song.
sang the
Incredible.
backup,
Oh.
man. You can't sing it without just one voice. You need 2 voices to sing, and everybody
Yeah.
tries to sing dang More Than Words at the karaoke bar, but they're like, dude, you need 2 people. Don't even try. So,
They actually have a cool song. With,
Hole in My Heart.
what's the Wholehearted?
Yeah,
what's
Wholehearted.
the song? That's Mama. I don't want to go to school today. That's a fun one. But yeah, it's extreme. Nobody really knows anything else about it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that one song.
It's more than one.
Yeah.
Well, it's the only for me. That's enough. It's like it's such a cool song.
It is a good song.
And I get-
they did a Christmas song too. Don't you know that it's Christmas?
All right.
Anyway,
I'm going to take this one. This is the other band that I think only had a section of time in the glam metal era, but they are one of the greatest bands of all time. I'm going with Aerosmith.
I like it.
Aerosmith.
All right. You guys took all my stuff, so I'm going to do this. Well, almost all of my stuff. My next one, I'm going with Dawkins. Give me Dawkins.
Nice.
Yeah, they were really
Right above my head, I believe.
And didn't they do the Dream Warriors song too, or what's the one from the from Freddie? Anyway,
Yeah, they did. They did. They did. It's
And
called.
last pick to your, I think it's your left. It's my right, but it's your left, almost to the top corner, top left. We're going with Mr. Big. Mr.
Nice.
Big in my final pick.
Okay.
Paul Gilbert.
A really good band.
Paul Gilbert.
But I like Mr.
Yeah.
Big.
Well, Mr. Big's big hit, right? It is one of the main songs. It is one of the main songs whenever somebody says, hold on, little girl. Yeah, dude, it's one of those songs for me that I immediately go into music. If I hear somebody say, hold on.
Yeah.
Anyways, to be with you. I'm the one who won. Anyways, I'm going to go with one up in this corner right here at the very top. You can barely see it right there.
Yeah, good. Come on, feel the noise.
Quiet Riot.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I love that. I love
That's a classic one right there.
All right,
Yeah.
Bert, you got one last pick.
Riot.
I get.
They were one of the first ones to start with the mascot.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, you're up, man. Bert, finish it down. Let's go, Bert and Dave.
This is my last one.
This is
Okay.
your last one.
Well, Sister Christian, you know the time
Yeah.
has come,
Yes.
and you know that you're the only one to say, okay.
Fun story. And I remember this as a kid. It's one of my favorite stories as a kid. My sister, same sister that traveled watching Def Leppard and whatnot. She got the Sister Christian cassette tape for Christmas, right? And I got Night Ranger Transformer at the same time. And I don't even know that my parents planned that, but I remember having the Night Ranger. He was a motorcycle transformer and like a motorcycle cop. And my sister got the album or the cassette. But anyways, great pick, Night Ranger. All right, last one, Dave.
My last one is Sabotage.
Oh,
Beastie Boys.
That is the Beastie Boys.
No,
I can't stand it.
Sabotage.
Oh,
Yeah. Their
Sabotage.
album,
This is a blind spot for me. Andy, you know Sabotage? I don't know this one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like mixing. Well, I don't know. It's Savatage, and actually, they folks, several of the folks in that band are in the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. The song that you hear, dun, 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 and then there's lots of guitar. That was actually on one of their albums called "Dead Winter Dead," which is about Yugoslavia Serb War, and so they've always been kind of pushing the edge of music, and Gutter Ballet is one that just grabbed my attention.
They have one called Streets, a rock opera. That's awesome.
Yeah. I love what Dennis said.
Yeah, we're stars from Live Aid. Go watch that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that is our show, guys. Thank you so much to both Bert from Niches Get Stitches or Bert's Beats, the modern day breakfast club, as well as Dave from Guitar Off the Cuff. Go, if you haven't already, go subscribe, check them out. Check them. Bert goes live on Tuesdays. He's always on other folks' stuff. But yeah, check those guys out as soon as you can. Guys, is there anything that you got coming up soon? Do you have any special shows or videos you want to share with the crowd while we're here?
Well, for me, I mostly put out music videos. I'll record a song and then create a video and put it together. So if you're interested in that, it's always instrumental. And it could be any type of different genre. It's just whatever came out of my brain that day, or a few days ago. And so I just love making music, and it's been great because having the community there and interested in some of the stuff that I do has made me have a reason to keep doing it. I was ready to just give up on creating music and putting it out there. Although I make music, I have music on my computers from 2001, full songs. But being able to do it with making the videos, putting them out there, and kind of putting a concept with it. So I have a music video playlist. If you go to my channel, that's probably the best place to go to, unless you're in for the gaming, in which case you'll see all the games there. So, but I don't have a release schedule other than my Tuesday hangout with Bert.
Yeah, Dennis just said, never stop, man. Never stop. That's awesome.
Yep.
I love it.
Hey, well, look, before everybody heads out, thank you for being here. We've had most of you travel with us for most of this time. Let me tell you what's coming up next, and just thank you guys so much for being here. What's next is I got my friend. I'm an Iraqi veteran, and I have my captain from when I was there coming on the show next week, and we are going to talk about John Hughes movie soundtracks. But what's our favorite songs from those movies? In 2 weeks, we're having Andy's full band. This is going to be the biggest show we probably ever did. I don't know if we're going to have enough time to even do this. People are going to hang up on us, but we're going to have his whole band on here doing a show, and we're doing Guilty Pleasures. And then in 3 weeks, we're finishing off music with Real Life Perspective podcast, and he's going to do 90s country songs. And then we're jumping into movies and TV. I've already reached out to a couple people. Five Nights at Freddy's has some of the actors from that movie are going to be on our show. We have Dope Smack, who's a guy that's doing comic book and movies. We've got Ben, who is he's a stuntman in movies. And stuff you would know. And we've got friends and other geeky, nerdy podcasts, other Christian pastors and leaders. So we haven't booked all those shows yet and when and the exact topics. So stay looking on our social media, which is all down here at the bottom. But if you know us, movies is one of our favorites. We're going to do some fantastic stuff. We'll let our guests pick. And then if you hang around long enough, right after that is nostalgia, then sports, then food, then restarting back with video games and music. So thanks for being here. Subscribe, join us for this little wild journey. It's amazing that we have surpassed 750 subs, but we're on that track to hit 1,000 for the end of the year, and we're excited for that. And just thank you, man. So Andy, what do we have left, man? What do we have left to tell them? Oh, one last thing before you jump in here. One last thing. Again, be on the lookout for our Nerds in the Word. I just wanted to give you our little promo for that. And this is coming soon on Sundays, probably starting after the summer. Yeah, we're going to do nerdy sermons. And those sermons are going to be based off of different things, like X-Men 97 just came out, or video games that just came out. And we're going to do them, gospel focused, related on some of the nerdy things out there that will help relate to some of our friends, the abandoned, the afflicted, the addicted, the alone, that we're meeting at these conventions and out here on the YouTubes. So, man, thank you for being here. Andy, now your turn. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Bert, Dave, so glad to have you guys with us.
Sorry, I was just getting ready to do some other things and hit the wrong button.
Crush more. I crush more. I second everything that Kirk already said. Comments. No,
the button's worn out.
Yeah, for real, Bert, Dave, man, thank you guys. We love that you've welcomed us in as kind of part of the community. Love connecting with all the people from the Modern Day Breakfast Club. It's been a ton of fun. Yeah, Breakfast Club next week, John Hughes. Hey, there you go. So it's gonna be So, hey man, yeah, I don't really have much else to say other than.
Well, it's time to tell our friends good night.
Yep. Well, let's say good night like we always do, and in this bad boy, this is the Rushmore Show, where it's all about your
top four
and nothing more.
And more.
Peace.
Booyah.